An opportune time to catch up with, as you saw in the video, that kind of kicks off our 2018 season. We do acknowledge some of the great players that we've had through this football club, and quite honestly, hopefully a lot more great players to come through the football club as we stand alone in 2018 and beyond. But one who's certainly made his mark at this football club and has then gone on, of course, to make his mark at the AFL level, who's with us tonight. Please welcome Michael Barlow.
Thanks, Kev. Thank you.
Now, hard to believe, but I got told this. I didn't actually know this, but your first appearance as such for the Werribee Football Club was actually in the Tigers mascot suit.
It was, yeah. We're still doing the walk down the main strip, I presume.
Yep.
Yeah, and the players have to jump in, and it was probably 40 degrees that day, and I was hungover I don't do it much. Drink much anymore, but that particular day I wasn't feeling too great. I was a bit green and they chucked me in the suit, and yeah, that was my first experience at the Werribee Football Club.
Why didn't you leave?
Yeah, well, no, it's a good question, because you think you get to a club and they treat you like that and you want out, but I think as the people, I came here 2008, and the same volunteers are here, and it makes me proud to be a Werribee Football Club person, and to always project that I got drafted from the Werribee Football Club. Yeah, to see Doug get life membership tonight. Ash still here. Ash was my first player sponsor with Rose Perry. So back then it was a huge sacrifice for a kid coming from Shepparton with scraggly hair and a body that just wouldn't stand up at any level, and they threw in their money to support me, and that's the basis of such a great club. So that's my initial memories of the club, and why wouldn't you stay? 2008,
your first year, you had a terrific year. A lot of people around the club thought you'd get drafted. Didn't happen. Came back in 2009, won the award that we're presenting tonight. In that 2-year period, did you think that this would be your lot, that you wouldn't get that chance?
Yeah, well, I probably had 3 or 4 years there across the journey of having a crack at getting drafted, and I've spoken to a couple of people tonight about coming to the footy club to Werribee after a couple of good years in the country and a chance to get drafted. And I thought I'd come for a year, have a crack at it. Mature age draftees weren't really a thing, so I was 21. I thought, this is my year, have a good year, get picked up, or have a year, whatever the year is, and go back to the country and play with mates and the rest of it that comes with it. But as soon as I got here, played a year, didn't get drafted, had quite a good year, but at the same time met lifelong friends, like guys that I can reel off and call really, really significant people in my life through this football club. So yeah, it took 2 years, but it was just such an enjoyable time, and some of my greatest memories were at the football club that we're celebrating tonight.
The fact that you had to work that little bit harder, I suppose, did that make it mean more to you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if I had a chance out of Golden Valley Footy League to get picked up, and I reckon if I had got picked up then, who knows? I think it probably would have been short-lived, just because it would have happened like that, and the heartbreak and the drafts you go through, and spoke I think with 10 clubs the year that I didn't get picked up, that I got drafted in the national draft. My mum and dad, and hearing Nathan speak earlier about the impacts parents have, and all you guys to understand the impacts that people close to you have on your careers and your lives, is so significant, because they see everything. They see my career has been probably 90% in the letdowns and disappointments, and the 10% up there. So everyone's happy to celebrate the 10%, but the 90% that stick by you when you're probably crying at the end of national drafts, and you're getting injured, and you feel like it's getting taken away from you, that's the most special. And also to harp back on kind of the significance of this football club, Simon Atkins, one of a great player for the club and a coach, is always the guy to ring probably a week after a major injury, so he won't get caught up in the rush. He'll call when you're most vulnerable. So yeah, it's a heartwarming place for me, this place.
Yep. You mentioned the highs and lows. The lows, how was there a point with the broken leg where you thought, no, this is it, I'll be back doing something else, I won't be playing footy?
There was, yeah, for about my first broken leg, I think 2 years I didn't feel normal. I got back playing after a year, but every step I took for 2 years, it felt like a hammer in the shins, and things weren't good. So, yeah, there were some dark moments, and that's again, your parents, your family, your really close friends, they dig in. They probably didn't see a future at times. I didn't see a future, but it made it all worth it, I think, down the track, to have some personal success and to play in an AFL Grand Final and that kind of stuff on the back of some really significant injuries. It's pretty special, yeah.
Yep. Well, what message do you give to young blokes now coming through the system, given what you've been through?
Again, I'm glorifying the club, but I think that's the situation we should be doing, because we're going into a phase where we're going to be standalone, and speaking to a couple of players really briefly about the tight-knit group they've got here. Nathan Larracy, 100 games, which is really unheard of, I think, probably outside of Port Melbourne, and kudos to them, but in the VFL. So when you don't get picked up, I think for me, I said I had 1 year to come down and play. Think I'll have a good year, I'll get drafted, or I'll take off. But if it wasn't for the people you meet in clubs like this, having been in the AFL system and very fortunate to be in it, there is a lot of saying it carefully. There's a lot of bullshit, and there's a lot of fakeness at times. And clubs like this, when you haven't got the players on scrabbling over a couple of $100,000 a year, and hierarchy of social statuses and all that, places like this are really special. And for the guys that do get the opportunity to go and get drafted, take it with both hands and enjoy every moment, and understand where you've come from and the potential of it. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with being associated with and being getting the best out of yourself at whatever level it may be. I remember Dom Gleeson, a great player for this club, said to me one day, he was 27, I think, kept playing VFL, and I always wondered, I was like, why do you keep doing it to yourself, your family? And he just said, when I'm 40 years old, I want to kind of look back and think, I played at the highest level that I could for as long as I could. And he was probably very stiff. He was probably stiff not to get picked up at times. He was about that tall and couldn't run. He was slower than me and couldn't kick over a jam tin. But all he wanted to do was get the most out of himself, and he still does it to this day. So he's someone I really hold in high regard. Yep. That people in the AFL system would have never heard of. So that's kind of the significance of the VFL league and this club.
Is footy still a passion for you? Is footy something you still love, or has it become your job and your vocation and all those things, more so than kid kicking a footy from Shepparton?
Yeah, early days it was definitely just a whirlwind of enjoyment, and everything was going away. But when you do have the downs, the injuries, I suppose getting delisted wasn't great. Things like that, you start to question, where's your life really at, and there's more to life, which I've always understood. But this game's, when it does get taken away from you, you quickly understand how much I love it, and I want to keep playing at the highest level for as long as possible, which I'll keep doing. So there are moments when you do get caught up in, I suppose, the monotony of it, but at the same time, I'm in a very fortunate position to do it for a job, something I love, something I grew up never thinking was a possibility to play AFL football, but to play AFL football and be a professional athlete, you've got to pinch yourself. Yeah.
Will you stay in footy? I know you're dabbling in the media, but where do you see yourself in 5 years' time when you finish playing at the Werribee Football Club, obviously?
No, I wouuld not get a game for the new standalone club. I think they're going to come out and do good things. I see. I did an urban planning degree when I was playing at Werribee. I'm very happy to call myself an urban planning graduate from Melbourne University. So, big round of applause there. Thank you very much. But if I never do a day's town planning for employment, I'll be a happy man, because I hope no one's doing urban planning, or there's no urban planners in the building, but it's very dull. It's not a very good existence. So I'd love to stay in the game at whatever capacity. Ross Lyon, through his coaching of me, definitely taught me that I don't want to be a coach. because you become very disliked and very pessimistic about life. So maybe a development coach or an assistant coach, not a senior coach. Or the media stuff's something that really interests me.
Yep. Mate, we appreciate your time. We know we're going to get you back up again later to present the major award, but again, it's just fantastic to have you here tonight.
Thank you. No, really appreciate it. And I'll have to apologise. To Mark Penaluna. He said wear a jacket and tie, and I didn't have a tie, so I just came with the open neck tonight. So thanks, Kevin.
Good on you. Well done.